Integrations are a recurring theme in this Decoded video series. We've talked about integrating with AWS services, with MongoDB, and consuming and exposing REST APIs. And we did it pretty fast. But what if you could go faster? That's right, in this episode we will talk about Integration Builder, a new builder that will help all of us developers with those repetitive manual tasks that we have to deal with every time we want to integrate with a service that is out there in the internet. So we all know what kind of tasks are those, right? So authentication, handling several methods for authenticating and connecting with that service, making sure that the architecture for the service is built for the future so you don't have to refactor or remodel everything every time you need something else from the service, making sure that you have the right concepts abstracted so all of your applications in your factory can consume that service, and all other stuff that you know as a developer that are really tiresome. So let's get into it. And jumping right into Integration Builder, as you can see, this is the homepage and I don't have any integrations configured yet. So let's start with this. Create a new integration and I'll choose Salesforce. And I already have a connection configured, but I'll show you how I did this because it's really simple. So this is, if you don't have anything, this is what it will appear to you. I'll just click connect. I'm logging in with the account that is supposed to be the account that will have the ownership over the connection for this integration. And that's it, right? So it's authorized. We can now use Integration Builder. And now we have all the objects that exist in the provider, in this case, in Salesforce. And let's say that I want the account, choose this, and automatically it will choose all the records, all the fields that are inside an account, and the contact, why not? So the contact, and same here. So if I click, I can see the fields that are inside an account. Next. And here I'll give it a different name. And the name for the modules, the base URL for the integration, the account that I'm using for this authorization of Integration Builder doing its magic, and the objects that I want to have in my integration for now. That is the account, this in use, account and contact. So let's confirm. All right, the logo. I'm able to choose if I want to edit this integration in Service Studio. I won't turn this on for now, but mainly what it will happen is if I turn this on, you can open the modules and change all the things that you need in these two modules. If I choose to turn this off, as I will, the only thing we can do is clone the modules and then after that do the changes we need. Let's publish and see what comes out of it. Okay, and we have the integration, the Salesforce integration published in our environment with this app name and with these modules. So now what we want to do is head over to Integration Manager and connect your integration with Salesforce. So let's click Next. And we are now in the Integration Manager, which means that this is where we select the connections that we want to use in a specific environment for this connector, for the Salesforce connector. And this can be useful, for example, if you have a connection for a development environment, you can choose it here in the development environment. And if you have another one in the production environment or in the testing environment, you can have that just by configuring in the Integration Manager. So let's select a connection, and I already have one here, but let me create duplicate one basically. And so here is where you decide the connection and the Salesforce account that is being used for the connection. And if you have admin permissions in Salesforce, you can quickly create this. If you don't have admin permissions in the provider, you can send an email with all the instructions to the admin of that provider and the environment type, and choose the connection, consumer key, and Salesforce username. You can use a default certificate or an external certificate if that's one of your needs. So let me cancel. and I'll choose the one that I already had configured, that is through the admin possibility. Finish. And that's it. We have an integration ready for us in a matter of minutes without having to do any code. And let's go to Service Studio and see what was created by the integration builder. So as you can see, the app as we named it, and two modules, the integration service module and the driver module. So I'm opening the integration service module, which is the abstraction for all this complexity of integrating with Salesforce and other providers. It will ask me to clone it since I didn't tick the edit in Service Studio when I was creating the integration. And as you can see, we have the methods for both objects that we chose. We have the get account, which handles authentication, calls the method, handles invalid sessions and all that stuff that is bothersome and repetitive, and then returns the data. And this is the same for all the methods that we have here. So with a few clicks and no code, we were able to integrate with a provider, choose the objects that we want, and all the fields that we want to return. And with that, we are ready to consume some of these actions. So I built something in the background so we can be quicker with this. A simple screen with a list and the search input, which is assigned to this search keyword variable. So to get the accounts list, I'll need to get data from other sources, use the method that we just saw in the Salesforce integration service module, and assign it to the output of the get data from other sources. So if we want to use the search that we saw in the screen, we can use a basic filter. And to do this, we have some static entities that we need to fetch from the driver module and the integration utils library that comes with the code that is generated by the builder and the builder itself. And so let's say that we want to filter the account name, and that it must contain the search keyword that the user will input, and it is a text, because Salesforce wants always to know what the type of the attribute or field that we are using is. And that's basically it. So we define how we want to search, the variable is assigned to this input, and it will filter this list. Of course, just as a detail, we refresh that data so we can have something to work. So let's publish. And let's see what have we done. Okay, so we have a list, and this is the list of accounts that I have in my test Salesforce account. So if I want to search for Jean account name, nice. Or if I want to, I don't know, Uni. Okay, I have everything that has U and I in the account name. That was easy. And that was it. I think we can go even faster when integrating with other stuff in the world with the integration builder. So to recap why this is a really good helper for all of us developers. It gives you the right architecture in terms of driver modules and the abstraction of the concepts within a provider. It helps with having several connections for a single provider instead of all the code that you would need to do to handle this type of things. It has all the handling of exceptions and authentication done for you. And it basically is just clicking the provider, choose the objects and the fields that you want to consume, and they are ready for you to consume. And then you can do the good work and not those repetitive and bothersome tasks that is always consuming external services to your application. That is always the same task, right? So I really like this builder. I hope you do too. Feel free to try it, and happy coding! See you in the next one.